official edition of the Ref Pod. Ref, what do you call it now? Referee, I ever laugh? I forgot already.
You having a laugh?
My name's
Ref.
We're having a laugh, Ref. My name is Wayne. And with me on this new journey, I'm going to introduce Martin Cassidy, Chief Exec of Ref Support UK, and my crazy little sidekick from up here in Donny, Mr Grassroots, Wayne Baker. So, Martin, do you want to do your own kind of intro to the pod?
And then the people in the ref game might know I've been causing a bit of trouble for years since I left the FA and whatnot. And I always wanted to have something that sort of stood out for referees. One of the problems I've always said, and I truly believe today, that referees never really had a public voice where they could go back at these like knobheads who give it lows on Twitter and everything else. I think we can just, because referees are actively told not to engage on social media. You know, some of them are getting threatened to be suspended if they say anything on social media. Some referees actually get suspended for what they say on social media. I just seen this big hole there saying, let's fill it, let's have a pop. And it grew into like a bit of the monster it is today now, where we're having, you know, the last 3 videos we've put up have had over 1.5 million views. So, you know, we know the content's there, we know the engagement's there. And I think I'm always getting stick because they're always saying, oh, you never, referees are always accountable, no, not accountable, and there's no transparency. When you go back to people and say, well, hang on, let's just have a look at this. And what the turning point recently for me was when I had to pop at Jurgen Klopp, because for years I've been getting told, you're a Liverpool fan, you never have a go at Jurgen Klopp. That's all I ever had. So because when Jurgen did two things that I thought was not really good, and I challenged it, then no Liverpool fan said, you're not a real Liverpool fan, even though can't win, which just sums up what refereeing's like. Do you know what I mean? And you know, it's some particular people coming at me, giving me loads purely because I said referees abuse at any level, there should be points deducted. Well, instantly when that went into print, I think it was the Times that ran with it. Names.
You know they won't do that though, don't you? You know the points deduction is never going to happen.
Well, but the thing is, it happens in Ireland.
Does it?
Yeah.
But can you see it going off? Can you see him actually signing up and agreeing to that in Premier League? Can you see it happening?
Well, to be honest, I'm not. I don't think it will in the Premier League, I must admit. But that's what happens with the article in the Times and the Telegraph. They thought I was saying deduct Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool points for that behaviour. I wasn't. I was saying people who behave like that right across football, let's look at deducting points. At grassroots level, you know, it'll work. It'll definitely work, because these lads who behave and ladies who behave like they do, they get a £30 fine. They're back in a couple of weeks. They do it again. It's no deterrent. Wherever you say, look, if you've got these knobheads on the sideline, giving it loads to referees of all ages, particularly children, let's deduct your points. Watch those clubs take accountability and ownership. The knobheads they have on the line who abusing referees.
And I'm sure we're going to touch a little bit on that as well today, and I'll speak a little bit about how all us have kind of come to know each other and form this podcast. Yeah. But one of the most interesting things you told me a few weeks ago was about how much money they make from it, and I've told this to loads of people recently about they're saying, oh, you know, fine, you know, we'll talk about grassroots over there, not Premier League, grassroots, and you know, opposed to the fines don't work, 30 quid, 40 quid, 50 quid, whatever, they don't work, they keep coming. And what you said was they don't want it to stop because they're making, what did you say, 9 million quid a year through these fines? 9 million a year, yeah.
9 million conservative. And that isn't me. I'm crap at maths. But that was published in an article that was verified by...
So they're making 9 million quid a year from little Johnny abusing a ref, or some idiot on sideline abusing a ref. They're making 9 million quid a year from it. So you're right. Why would they want it to stop?
Why would they want it to stop? It's not within their business interests for a referee to get on with players, fans. It's not. And it was a lad called Sam Cunningham talked to me about it. He's an iPaper journalist, really good journalist, top lad. And he did it. And I just put it all together and said, well, that's why it's not within the interest. I actually said in the paper, which I know also upset a few people at the FA who talked to me afterwards, I said, the only organisation that makes money out of abuse and violence that I know of is the mafia. Why be Alan? Do you know what I mean? And that's what we've got to do. We've got to have these analogies that wakes people up.
Yeah.
I think, you know, it doesn't. Jurgen Klopp got fined 30 grand. I think it's half a day's pay.
Not even that, is it?
How's that going to keep him in check? It's not going to happen, is it?
No. So let me hold you there, just over there with it, because I want to bring Wayne in. Wayne Baker. Go on, I'll let you do your own intro, mate. You don't need me to do it.
Yeah, you can
the living legend, the man himself. I'm a ref, grassroots. I'm a committee member. I'm a sponsor. I'm a parent coach. I am a living legend.
Oh wait, you forgot presenter. That's your new skill.
I'm a presenter. Yeah. I'm gonna be a star.
So and don't forget, committee member of what?
Of my club,
Grassroots Football Club.
Which is called what? What's it called?
They are the Sandal Beat Hawks.
Yeah, play to them. Shout out to them.
So let me just tell you quickly. Obviously, if everybody's tuning in for the first time, we got together by a bit of chance, really, a bit of me chancing my arm, and I've recently. I'll tell you what I am. I'm the chairman of this grassroots club we're talking about. I'm a new up and coming filmmaker. Hopefully, I did radio for 7 years. I've done podcasting before, and this kind of referee Are You Having a Laugh podcast, which was all Martin's idea, came about because I pretty much chanced my arm one day. I've done a documentary about grassroots refs, protect and respect, and I've been getting all different people. It's a feature-length documentary. It's not released yet. I will tell you when that's released, so you can all go and watch it, wherever it may be. I'm not sure yet. And I wanted to speak to parents, young referees. I wanted to speak to alternative sports such as rugby, but I needed somebody in Martin's position who'd been a pro ref, who'd done it all, seen it all, was still actively involved in the game. I needed somebody to come on and talk to me and back me up what I was saying and give me more. So I'm a big fan, and I'm putting this out there. I mean, if we ever get to go on and meet the guy, I'd love it. But I'm a big fan of Simon Jordan, and I always listen to TalkSport every morning with him, 10 while 1. I don't know why I'm plugging them anyway. And Martin, you were on there, weren't you? You were on there, and I can't. What was the incident that you were on there for?
I can't remember. They've been brilliant. I have actually been in the studio with Jim White. Simon Jordan wasn't there. I was in there with Jim White and oh my God, can't remember, ex-player. I can see his face and everything. I was in Trinidad and Tobago with him as well on a football PFA
team. Keown?
No.
Murphy?
Oh, no, my boy loves him as well. Oh my God.
I'm trying to think. Is he still on now?
Yeah, pops on now again. Can't remember.
Pierce.
No.
Anyway,
let's go through a list.
I can't fucking remember him, but it'll come to me. And it was good, and they've supported us right from where we're going. Again, they noticed the gap in the markets that no one was going out publicly, putting their neck on the line. Yeah. I'm there to get shot at. I'm all right with that, no problem at all. And they discussed, even some referees who are like big badge collectors, I call them, will never see anything wrong in the FA and what they do. We'll say, no, you can't do that. You're making us look bad. You know, we shouldn't be saying things like that. You shouldn't be going back at clubs. You shouldn't be going back at Neil Warnock and people like that. And I just said, why? And he could answer me. That's how they've been conditioned. So, yeah, but I want to go back to you, actually, mate.
Yeah. Hold on 1 minute. You took off there, but I love it. I'll come back to it. But what I'm going to say is, I heard you on there, and the FA have been cold shouldering me for months. I told Wayne, I said, I can't get anybody on. The local authority here in Doncaster had agreed to come and speak to me and get me referees to come and speak to me. And the FA shut them down. They said they weren't allowed to do it. So I emailed them and said, you know, why? You know, this is nothing sinister. I'm just telling a story, the true story about a grassroots ref, how much it's in decline, how much we're desperate for him from a club perspective, because I run one. And there you were. And so I'm running around thinking, I need a pen, need a pen and paper. And I got a pen, and my missus steals all these, but these are like gold dust in my house. So I got it and I'm writing it down. Martin Cassidy, Ref Support UK. Anyway, I don't think it was that day. I think it was a couple of days after, and I remembered, oh shit, that guy. I'll drop him an email. Or no, I found you on Facebook, didn't I? And I messaged you. And you messaged me back pretty much straight away to say, yeah, email me details through. And then I emailed you details through, and we kind of sorted out, I rang you up, we had a good conversation on the phone. We sorted out a date, and Wayne will tell you this, you wore like I wouldn't say the entire the documentary. Well, it did hinge upon having a person in authority who knew more than what we did on it. And can you remember we couldn't get you, and I had to ring you because I'm like, oh, he's not coming. And then we ring you, we got you, and then we had all them technical problems. If you can remember, Zoom, and then we got you, and you totally blew us away in the interview. And I'm not even in the film. I'm just doing I'm obviously filming. I'm directing it. and Wayne got emotional.
I did, yeah.
Did you see him get emotional at the end? He got
Yeah,
emotional with what you
I
said.
was fighting it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, but going back to you, let's not talk about me. I'm going back to you. Keep saying what impressed me about you when you phoned me was that you said, "Oh, I was with this football club. The football club seems to be just making loads of money, not care about the kids. I wanted to develop a football club that was dead cheap per month for the kids, gives them good quality football, good quality, environments and everything else. And now I've started with one team, and now I've got how many you got now?
10
10
in 2 years.
And how many years? Two years.
Well, less than 2 years. Oh, this month is a 2-year anniversary of the club,
which is absolutely phenomenal. So to me, it struck a chord to me. I'm talking to a real grassroots lad. Then we talked the other way, and what he'd done as a ref, and it was all that stuff that we're really interested, the grassroots stuff, the Premier League stuff, and all that. Not really bothered about that. That comes to me because people go, right, you bastards. I'm all about helping, those people who will have an incident and they can't phone the FA or the county FA because on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday morning, but all the offices are closed, which is why I started up a hotline. You can get hold of us, which is why all my social media.
Plug it.
Well, I can, and that's what we're doing. It was the first ever hotline we did. No one was doing a hotline ever, not a national one. England, Scotland, and Wales as well, which we did 24/7. We pay money for it to get answered. 24/7, 365 days a year, even on calls on Boxing Day. If it doesn't get taken for whatever reason, it gets transferred to one of the trustees' phones, and then we pick it up. And having this instant sort of shoulder to cry on, or just someone to think, actually, it's not me. Yeah. There's loads of people out there who's gone through this. I'm not a crap referee. I might have made mistakes, but all those little things started snowballing and then I phoned them back. The protocol is, I don't take the number, I don't record the number, I don't do nothing unless they say to me, "Oh, you can have my number." Then if they give me the number, I phone them back a week later, exactly a week to the hour. I'll do it purposely, a week to the hour. How you doing, mate? What have you heard since? And they're always like, "Oh my God, thank you for thinking about me." All these little tiny small gestures don't cost money, just cost time. And I feel like I and the trustees have shown the FA and the county FAs, you don't need money to give ref support. Yep. You just don't. No one gets paid any money from us. No one takes any expenses. That's where this has come from.
And how long you been going now? How long's ref support been going for?
5.5 years, I think.
So 5.5 years. I passed my referee qualification 2 years ago, and nobody told us about this. No. There was never any. And Wayne, I'm sure you'll back me up in a minute with this. There was never any. What's the word? Once you'd done it, there was nothing. You were like, you've done it. There you go. Get me your 5 games. Send them to me, and then you'll be a fully fledged ref. There was nothing about, if somebody calls you a wanker or someone wants to fight you over an 8-year-old getting a penalty and it shouldn't have been, then just deal with it on your own.
Well, it's not all bad though, Wayne. Remember, we did get a nice coin.
Oh yeah, actually, actually, they did give me a Fox 40, which were a revelation in life.
I've upgraded to a Sonic though. My Fox 40 is a Sonic and it's amazing.
Yeah. And you know what? People are listening to this like aren't referees are thinking, what a bunch of tosses. But the Fox 40 is something else, isn't it? And it's again a small gesture. Look what you've remembered. You got to whistle, even though you're taking a piss a bit. It's these little small, and there is some great county FAs out there. North Rising is fantastic, absolute trailblazer of a county FA. But there's others out there that I engage with. That's nearly always bad news. They've said they're going to do something, they don't. But what's really happened, and I don't want this podcast to go that way, that's why I want it to be like you're having a laugh, Ref, is because the FA I'm really seeing signs that the FA nationally really want to do something about it. That body cam trial, I was banging my head against the wall for 2.5 years. No. All I ever got was email back. No. And the real one that really pushed me buttons was the head of refereeing at the time emailed and said, the FA have got no appetite for body cams. That was the exact email. I still got it. And I said, well, hang on, that's you haven't got the appetite. Why are you making a unilateral decision for the whole organisation as a whole? You're just one department. So when I started going round them, and then I was going to IFAB, going right to FIFA, and they were obviously making noises back. He left, and then David Ellery left, who was another nuisance who I believe was to detriment to referees for decades. All of a sudden, they come to me, they start talking to me about it. They approach IFAB, they become a body cam trial, first in the world. All moved dead quick, and the noises I've got coming back from them is really positive. I don't want to be part of them. I don't want to be anything of them, because that's where the referee association went wrong. They take funding off the FA, or they used to. They definitely did, because I've got emails to say it. Tens of thousands of pounds a year, and they get gifts. Even this weekend just gone, 1,000 of their members got free tickets to the non-league finals day, or the FA Vars and FA Trophy. Right. So why do their members get those tickets free when there's another 20-odd thousand referees across the country? You don't get that chance to get those tickets just because they don't pay a membership of the RA. So there's lots of little things wrong, and I always feel you should be taking gifts off people who you're supposed to be challenging, which is why
hold to account.
Oh, to account. So there's a much bigger piece there. But I still want to talk about YouTube, because people, I've done a podcast before. People know what I'm about, but I think what YouTube's done is absolutely phenomenal. And I'm not religious or nothing like that. I believe in Christianity, just being a good person. Do you know what I mean? Don't really believe in gods, but what I do believe in is fate happens. And when you reached out to me and what we've got, and it was just so natural that we all had the same passion about our part of football, and cleaning up the game positively and making a positive change. That you two have been a bit of a gift, if I'm honest.
I think we could say the same thing back to you, to be honest. So I mean, that brings me quite nicely actually onto just plugging the pod a little bit, just talking about what it's about, what we intend to do with it, because we're all really excited about it and see where it could go. And I think I had a conversation with you, Mike, the other day, and you said to me, I'm not just going to come on here and stick up for referees. If referees make a bad call, I'm quite big enough to say, actually, they've got that one wrong. So for anybody that's listening, thinking, all they're going to do is bat referees all the time and never call them out, actually, no, we're not. But we are going to be fair. We are going to give it from a fair viewpoint to say, all right, he might have got it wrong. And these might be the reasons why, but although he ain't got it wrong because of this. And I think what really blew me away about it was you obviously saying to me, I've got loads of contacts. I'd love to get them on, give them a voice. And, for me, not just from a grassroots perspective, from a lover of football, and I'm a massive red like you, Martin. I'm so passionate about Liverpool, it's ridiculous. But to hear the other side, I think it'd benefit referees to have a voice. I think it'd benefit them to come out and be, and I don't know whether you agree with me or not, to be interviewed after games. And when Howard Webb went on to Sky Sports last Monday, was it? Yeah, and he did the talk, and he let you listen to all the audio between them. I'm like, if you played this in games, you won't get half as much shit as what you did. And it's a bit like rugby, really. I love when rugby stops and you hear them communicating with each other and you hear them saying why they're making this decision and why they've not made this decision. And there's no grey area. Now, I think the difference being is with football, and I was thinking about this today about when I come on, because I'm going to ask you about some incidents from this weekend, because I want us to try and stay relevant as well. Oh. And because football, to me, there's loads of grey areas where it's down to interpretation. And I could see things or watch the same thing as you two, and we could all three of us have different opinions on what it should be. And I think that's what we forget in football, is that it's not black and white always. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I don't know what you think, Wayne. We'll have to get a name for you, because you're both called Wayne, aren't you? Wayne.
Yeah, we've got little Wayne and Big Wayne. I'm Little Wayne.
I thought I was Boss Wayne. I'm sick of this big Wayne.
Why don't we say Baldy Wayne and Hair Wayne?
Yeah, Hair Wayne, yeah.
I don't know.
Hair Wayne.
What do you think, Wayne?
Well, it's the same. I mean, looking at the voices for the refs, also having a bit of a crack back at fans. Ref, you're having a laugh is one of the most common things I hear when I make a decision. So why not say to anybody that might pipe up, oh, he's a shit ref, say, right, okay, well, you didn't know that chant, you're a shit fan. Or, why did you have that opinion? Why did you think you're right and the ref was wrong? Or why did you think, this happened when it shouldn't have? An example that Wayne was just about to talk about there, keeping relevant, was like, for example, Van Dijk's offside this weekend. Yeah. It was deemed offside because the referee said that the deflection was unintentional. Yeah, so it came off an opposition player, but he didn't play the ball, it deflected, therefore it's offside. But on the same day, Ward's goal from Fulham against Palace did exactly the same thing, and it was onside. So you had two scenarios with exactly the same thing happening and two different results. And and this is obviously Wayne's grey area. Why isn't there something set in stone? But being a referee, it is your opinion, or it might even be where you're stood. You don't see something, and you can't guess. You're not allowed to guess. You just give what you see.
I know. And then what gets thrown at us is, oh, they have all kinds of cameras and they have 47 views at it, and they still get a frigging wrong.
He's only got 2 eyes.
I know, but I think.
But
well, go on.
Go on, sorry, Matt. Go on, no, go on.
Is that VAR's is a journey that starts with a human and ends with a human. The electronics don't make the decision, so you'll always get an interpretation of what you've seen. But what goes wrong, and this is why, and I would love to answer more on Twitter, but straight away they go, it's corruption. They're the worst in the world. It's corruption. You're like, yeah. And then I'm not engaging. Some people come to me and go, look, do us a favour, blah, blah, blah. And I say, listen, I think he's got it wrong. I've done it loads of times. And then it means you go, you never say that wrong. And then when you do, you do say you're wrong. They say, well, what are you going to do about it? You think, what can I do with my Twitter account?
Absolutely.
Text Howard's web and say, get it sorted. There's no leeway of the player's mistake. They're always, Liverpool fans particularly, are coming at me saying, look at this, what's happened with Salah. Look what's negating for years that Salah was the one that was booked the most for diving, or was accused of diving, and all the diving that went on for ages for Salah. And now they're going the other way. Oh, he doesn't get any free kicks. Well, actually, could that be because for years he was like, accused of being a diver? They always forget all that. And that's not Liverpool. And honest to God, I'm up at Liverpool this weekend. You've got a big family too this weekend. And
you better watch what you're saying.
Mate, I mean, my brothers, a big family, brothers better than me. Then their mates are saying, tell your brothers to shut up. But it wasn't a Jurgen Klopp thing. It wasn't. And I love Jurgen Klopp and I love Liverpool Football Club. I had no choice. I was born and bred in Anfield. Do you know what I mean? I was minded cars for people who were going to the game as a kid. Do you know, football and everything was my life. And it does hurt to see Jurgen Klopp behaving like this. And then they accuse its passion. Paisley wasn't like that. Shankly wasn't like that. Tagrice wasn't like that. Joe Fagan wasn't like that. Ronnie Moran wasn't like that. You're telling me they weren't as passionate and as committed to the cause as Jurgen Klopp is? Of course they were, but they weren't acting like he acts. So that's why I don't buy it. I don't buy that side of the Jurgen Klopp.
So why then? Why now?
Why now? Why is he like that?
Well, not just him. I mean, you look at it, some of them, you just like, well, you can't believe what you see sometimes, can you? Why? I mean, Arteta's another one for me. I can't stand watching him on a sideline. He makes me want to saw my TV,
Yeah, Pep's the same. Yeah. But then they've all forget, if you look at what happens, people coming at me and saying, you're a disgrace, you shouldn't be allowed to Liverpool again, you rat. Purely because you had an opinion on Klopp that wasn't the same as theirs. I got hijacked on TalkSport because they invited me on. I was on the radio live, Jim White and Simon Jordan. And I was, because I'd been given Neil Warner clothes when he was manager in Middlesbrough. I said, he's a pantomime character. He needs to be binned. You need to bin him because people are copying his behavior at grassroots level, and then kids have got to deal with that bad behavior. So they come on. So I'm talking. He said, let's go to the adverts. Normally, when you go to the adverts, they say, oh, thanks, Matt. Yeah, get you on next time. He said, can he stay on? So I'm there at this break and I'm thinking, this doesn't normally happen. I think, what's going on here? That's going well. Then starts and then goes, oh man, I'm used to it. And he read out what I said about Neil Warner. He's an embarrassment to the club. Don't understand why clubs employ people like him. Martin, what if you ever could meet Neil Warner, what would you say? And I'd say, I'll tell the same. He goes, good, he's on the other line. Neil Warner is Martin Cassidy. Hijacked me live on here. I had no idea. And I thought, oh, God's all right. What do we do here? So I just said, look, and you've got to have a bit of respect for what he's achieved in the game. Let's be honest. He is a nuisance sport. So I said, look, you got to do admire what you've done in the games to a certain extent, but you've got to admit that, blah, blah. And so this argument's happened live on air, and it totally backfires on him, I believe, because I said to him, Charlie Austin, it was. I say it's Charlie Adams. Charlie Adams was a Liverpool player, wasn't he? Charlie Austin. It was,
Charlie Austin. Yeah, he were a Warnock player, Charlie Austin, yeah.
So Charlie Austin, the dead-butted a Middlesbrough player. And the referee said he had a good view of it. It wasn't. I think it was a headbutt. I agree. You never sent him off. So Warner goes on the pitch, does the pantomime antics, and has a go at the referee for not sending the Charlie Austin off for headbutting his player. He doesn't have a go at Charlie Austin. He was the person who had headbutted it. So I said, why did you go after the referee? He never headbutted anyone. If you're so angry, go after the player. But he didn't go after the player. Because the player would probably have a go back and say, you saw what do you mean? But the referees don't. So he wouldn't have that. He wouldn't have that. And so lots of these little things I've been doing against managers and putting it out. The Warnocks, the Peps, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I got accused of having to go at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It was in the papers, on the radio. And then they all said, oh, it's because you're a Scouser. So now I have a go at Jurgen Klopp. So I just can't win. So I know I'm never going to win. But what they all do, even the people who hate what I do, they're getting it discussed.
Yeah.
Whether they're having a pop and swearing, and no one used to discuss what goes on with referees because it was all desensitized and everyone. So no matter what they do, that's why our Twitter account's one of the highest, if not the highest Twitter account for referees. It's got millions of engagements because we talk about things that people who are in the refereeing game don't normally want to engage with. And that's where we've gone with, and that's what you two are doing, coming from the point of view you have, is just so refreshing because you are prepared to talk about it and you're still involved in the game as a participant. I don't register anymore. So the FA's got no control over me.
I coming back to, it's really interesting what you said there. And I do, before I go on to the next point, I do think it's really poor that TalkSport dropped tuning it like that. I know you're not bothered, but I would have been livid. I'd have been calm in the moment, but when it had finished, I think I'd have been absolutely livid.
I was all right. Honestly, I was all right about it. And
yeah, but I mean, I know you stand behind what you're saying, but I mean, just to drop in it like that, I mean, it's just, I mean, I know why they do it. They do it for radio, don't they? Do it for ratings. Then they can put the little clips out there, can't they? Saying, oh, you know, Warnock confronts chief exec, what, you know, Ref Support UK and blah blah blah. But yeah, anyway, coming back to the grassroots thing, and I think what made me do it, and I wanted to make a film. What I wanted to do is I wanted to do about 4 or 5 parts of grassroots, really. And I wanted to focus on every single area. I wanted to focus on a parent and player relationship. I wanted to follow them, you know, not just in football, but school runs and getting them home and preparing, and weekends coming up and training and getting them to training and back and getting into games. And I wanted to do the whole thing because what I said is about, and Wayne, before he came to my club, was a parent. He wasn't involved in any way, shape or form at the old club before he came over, not even interested in football. And I said that grassroots is more than just a game of football. There's so much more to it. And I think if you look at, and I'll give you my club as an example of that. And I always said that, you know, it was as important that I had parents on board as well as players, because nothing happens without the parents also. But also what I wanted to create was an atmosphere and an environment that everybody felt safe, everybody felt included, everybody felt welcome. And from my first year of doing it and taking it over, and we only had my team to start with. We did and I've got lads from all different backgrounds, you know, Muslims, Sikhs, Christians, and the parents, and some of the parents that come from them countries. And we did a massive day on the field. We did a massive like a sports day in the summer. And everybody brought all the different food, and everybody was mixing. And and it was just amazing. You know, some people drank, some people didn't drink, but what everybody did was laugh and smile. And I'm like, I'm onto something here. I'm winning, and I feel good about it. So then Wayne's team came on board. We got 2 more, and like I said, this year we're going to have 10 teams going down there. But there's so much more to it. And parents, I want to come along for the ride. The kids obviously come along for the ride. The coaches, Wayne will tell you, we have a massive, vibrant coaches chat where we've all created new friendships. We have a new group of lads, mates, that and there's a couple of women in there as well. And you have the banter, and you have all the football stuff. Then you have your serious stuff. Then you'd all get together. My lads won the league a few weeks ago. We had to win on final game of the season, and we did with 1-0. And Wayne made sure everybody came down from club. Honestly, a grassroots game, there must have been 500 people watching. It was mental. And so grassroots is so powerful. But at the same time, what made me good to referees, coming back to my point, is it's so fragile. And people don't understand how fragile it is. And what I mean by that is there's a shitload of people that are putting hours. And I mean, I'll give it me, for example, right? Without all the stuff of running the club, I've had a phone call today off for a woman who her son, we got rid of him out of the club because he tried to stab somebody on a field near here, and we had video footage of it. Anyway, but that's another story. That's in addition to I train 2 hours tomorrow night. I'll train 2 hours Saturday morning, and then there's games Sunday, and then I'm taking my lads to watch a game of football on Saturdays. The Liverpool Legends game on at Rovers ground. And what I mean is, there's so many people that put their heart and soul into it and don't get any money. So all my coaches, even me who runs a club, doesn't have any money out of the club. We charge really low subs. It's less than £10 a month, but we provide them with home kit, away kit, training kit, all the equipment, all the referees, all the pitches, everything. For what we provide, we're cheapest in Donny. I don't know anybody that's beating us. And behind all that, and the not the glue, but the cherry on the cake that makes it all work on a Sunday, everything you've trained for is for that Sunday morning. Everything you put in, all the days where you take them away for team building days, you're doing that team building to make them a better team for that Sunday morning. So when that Sunday morning comes, if you haven't got a referee, you ain't got a game. And people don't understand that. And when you turn up, and I love reffing, Wayne loves reffing. When you turn up to ref, and we've been talking about professional referees getting it wrong. I ain't a professional referee. Neither's Wayne. I ain't got cameras. Sometimes I don't even have linos. I have to judge everything that I can see in one shot and give an honest verdict in a split second. And one guy wanted to fight me for an under-8s game. So we're talking 7 and 8-year-old kids. Wanted to fight me because I didn't give a free kick that I didn't think was a free kick. And he was literally coming onto the pitch and saying, I can't, what he said to me now, he was literally screaming at me. And I had to blow up and call him over. And he raced towards me. And I'm like, what are you doing? This is 7-8 football. It doesn't even matter what the score is. The leagues are not published. And what you saw isn't what I saw. So it wasn't a free kick. But that, if I'd have been not less of a person, confrontation doesn't bother me. There's people out there that confrontation does bother. And if that had happened to them, they'd be gone. I know, yeah. And there'll be a lot of referees where that'll happen and it'll be gone. I've asked parents in my club to, as Wayne will know, to ref. Nobody will step forward. Yet this year, we had a 14-year-old girl step forward to do a training. She's done a training. She's doing a refereeing. And guess what? One of these parents actually approached me and moaned about it. A bloke moaned about it. And I said, I'm not listening. I'm not listening to you. Because, all right, she might not be the best referee in the world, but she's having a go. And she's got a bigger pair of balls than you have.
Because you could have done it.
She's on there doing it, and all you're doing is moaning. Mm-hmm. And people don't realise that idiots like that, and the guy probably knows if he listens now, but I'm not bothered now. Idiots like that will then, and she didn't ref for ages after that game. She didn't ref, and we had to talk her back into it and try to build up a confidence. And it's idiots like that stop people re-reffing. Now, look, I manage. I've got a team. I get frustrated with referees, and I might go, oh, ref, come on. But there's one thing doing that.
You had to go with me once.
Yeah, but there's one thing doing that, asking you about a decision.
Now.
He's right. I do, and I'll say, I'll ask him, what was that for? Why have we not got this? Would I never, ever criticise or threaten a referee like you see? And when it's a young girl, you just got to go, she's trying her best. And idiots like this, why we cannot get refs at me. We've got 4 referees at my club. Me, Wayne, a guy called Dan, and another guy called Ches. 4 referees. We all coach. So after we've coached the games, we have to go for ref games because we cannot get refs because idiots will not stop abusing them. It's nuts. And so anyway, come back to it. That is why the grassroots documentary that you're in, Martin, and Wayne's presenting, that I made is important. And we've got some really, really good stuff in there. We've got your view, we've got Wayne's view, we've got a young referee's view, we've got parents, we've got rugby views. When you're out there, I want as many people who's into football as I can to watch it because I want you to see over that fence. I want you to see what it looks like from a referee's perspective. I want to see how you make 14-year-old kids feel when you tell them that they're fucking shite and they're not good at the job and they're a disgrace. I want you to see how that affects them. And I want you to see how it affects the parents and how it makes them feel. And people don't get it. And we're living in a time at minute, and I don't want to go down all the political route, but I've never lived or know of a time that's been as bad as what we are. And rather than people coming together and taking it out on the forces that are causing us all this grief, we're turning inwards, which is what they want. And we've got to stop. And it has to start somewhere. And football is so integrated with a community that what you see in a community is on a sideline. And it just can't happen. You want your little kid to play football, then you might not like all the decisions he makes, but you can't be threatening and abusing. You've got to stop, because if you don't, there'll be no refs and there'll be no games. And that's the truth. That's not me making stuff up. That is the truth.
Who was the one that was? Which Wayne was it? Was it? I'm going to call you with the Wayne with the hair. Was I'm going to call you without the hair, Wayne. Wayne, when you see it, and you're out there, do you see any referees when you do games away from wherever you are, and they're wearing like an armband to say that they're under the age of 18? Do you see much of that up your way?
No, my 14-year-old son's just signed up to do the ref course. He's doing all the online stuff at the minute, and I'm already ordering him a yellow band. I want him to wear the yellow band, and I think it's really vital that the youngsters wear the yellow bands. It should be something that's given to them, at the course, and it isn't, and it's not being pushed enough to warn parents or people on the side, keep your gob shut. This is a child. It's the reason why we're all here anyway. It's for the kids. We want them to be healthy and safe and happy. One of these kids that we were talking to, his first ever game, he made a call. He even said it himself. He didn't think it were a great call. Surrounded by coaches and everybody, a 14-year-old boy, surrounded by grown men mouthing him off. So if it had a yellow band, it might have made some kind of difference. If it had had a body cam, it'd have made a world of difference.
I know. And was it you that came up with this protect and respect, or was it you?
It was me. Me, protect and respect.
I think that's absolutely brilliant. I think that is absolutely brilliant. The way respect has been sort of devalued. The way the respect campaign has been an absolute unmitigated failure. That I don't think we should use the word now. I just think it's almost like Brexit. It's a word it's just got a different take on what it actually was meant to be. And protect and respect, I think, just is something that is a real great way of looking at it. But the reason I mentioned the armbands is my take on it. Why do we need to identify a child to stop them getting abuse? And we've got some county FAs who do armbands. We've got some county FAs, because they're all so competitive with each other. Well, not all, a lot of them are. Or because X county FA is using armbands, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to use a different colour armband or a different shirt. So you've got these different ways of identifying children who are referees. You've got green socks. I think Worcester do green socks. You've got a purple shirt, which I think Herefordshire do a purple shirt, or Gloucestershire. You've got armbands that Manchester do are yellow. Some use them that are white. But my biggest problem is no one's doing the same thing. The FA have never led on it and said, there's 54, whatever his county FAs, including the armies and all them. You're all going to do this. You're all going to do this. Whatever that is, all wear a bloody hat or do whatever. But there's not. And that was a massive missed trick now. Because when you wear a purple shirt, what happens if there's a colour clash straight away? Got a problem?
Yeah.
Some of them haven't got pockets in. It's just like a round neck t-shirt. So there's other problems with that. Why didn't they all just go armbands? Then get a sponsor for it. Like Nationwide were doing stuff. Do it free. But that's what done me head in, is the fact. And then they brought in, I don't know if you know this, into the discipline process. If you get charged, if a young referee reports you for abuse or worse, and they were wearing an armband or a purple shirt or green socks to identify them as a child, they can mitigate that and it becomes more of a serious offence, which I think is a good move. I think it's good. Move. We've got to have these things, then let's use them to punish people who do it. But they're still not looking at, officially not looking at points deduction, like I said earlier. But I'm hearing there's these sorts of steering committees being created in the corridors of PO Box 1966 to look at this. That's what I'm hearing. And then when Ireland got in touch with me, the Football Association of Ireland said, oh, by the way, do you know that we've already got points reduction? Someone ran on a pitch and kicked a referee and broke his ribs. Got 5 years or whatever, it should be in lifetime. But the team got deducted 10 points. And I said, whoa, give me the info on that. And it's all there in the policies, procedures, and processes. If you do this, you get points deducted. So do it over here. Yeah. Do it over here. Have a trial, do whatever you want. And when I talk to leagues, like the Shoal Station Western League down here, good level of football, they come up publicly and said, we'll we'll be part of a body cam pilot as a league if you want to do it. That changed the landscape because the league said, "Oh, we'll do it." So the FA I've got Mr Cassidy and Ref Support UK going do a bleeding body cam trial. Most referees are going, "That's a good idea." Then we've now got leagues coming out saying, "We'll have a go. We think something needs to be done." The landscape changed, and I think if clubs and like yourselves, real positive clubs and leagues got together and said, "I think points deduction is a good idea," I think it'll start to move. Really do.
Got to start with one.
Yeah, I think it's the only thing that'll work because I think I think we're really proactive in any if any of our coaches come back or referees come back and say, this parent's been like this, and if it's from our club, then we go and speak to them. I go and speak to them. Like I say with that guy, I've been and spoke to him. I won't have it. I won't have loads of stuff on sideline. Other stuff as well. Even shouting instructions. Especially to younger kids, because they're literally kids spinning around in circles because you've got a coach saying one thing and a parent saying another, and little Johnny's spinning around because he don't know who to listen to. So I think I always say to my parents, come down, encourage, cheer on, but absolutely never instruct. Do not instruct a player. That's why you bring your kid down here to be coached by us. Because if you're telling him to go do one thing, chances are that's totally different to what coach wants to do. You might think that coach wants him to press the ball or wants him to stay back, and actually, the coach might want the opposite to what you do, and then it messes everything up. So I think everything from a sideline perspective needs to be reined in. But I won't have it at mine. And I'll tell you the story. Actually, we had an incident. I'll be listening to this as well. I love it. Ches, he's my assistant for my team, and he's also one of our refs. And we had a massive incident in our first season. And you won't believe when I tell you this. It was an under-15s game, and Ches were reffing it, and they were from a local area not far from where we are. And some of the fans, bearing in mind it were really kickoff, I think it were an 9:30, 10 o'clock kickoff. Some of the fans secretly brought a crate of Fosters to the field, parents, and they nailed this crate of Fosters between about 3 of them in the first half. So there was absolutely smashed, and there were a really bad tackle in the second half, and Chesney blew, but before he could even get to him, they were scrapping, these two kids or fighting. So they started fighting. Then what do you think these pissed up parents did? So they came on pitch. So they were trying to fight players, and then coach came up. So I'm stood on my next pitch, turning around, thinking, what the hell's going off there? Ran over, tell my mate, my ref, make sure he were all right, split them all up, get these parents. What are these parents? As soon as I got there, I knew that they were pissed. I knew it. And I'm trying to get them off, and they're wanting to fight my coach at the time who were with us, and I'm saying, you're a disgrace. This is kids' football. And then see the empty crate of Fosters as well. And when we got them all off, and the point I'm trying to make it, I'm going to Liverpool to get to London a little bit. But one of our coaches, a new coach who was due to take over on the sevens team, started effing and jeffing at me, saying it was referee's fault. It was referee's fault. I said, what do you mean it was referee's fault? If he'd have red carded him, that wouldn't have happened. I said, hold on a minute. He blew whistle. Before he could get over to card anybody, they were already scrapping.
You're already on, yeah.
All parents are on pitch. What do you want to do? Red card all parents, send them all off. How's that going to work? And he was going mad. And having to go and saying he's a shit ref, he's this, he's not controlled it, he's been shite all game, blah, 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 blah. I lost my mind. Can't remember what I said, for a few home truths. When I got home, because my game were about to start, got home, addressed it in our coach's chat, got rid of him. I said, under no circumstances do I have any. I said, my refs do the best they can. They all work hard. We don't have enough. And I certainly won't have coaches, especially new ones, come down and start having to go at my refs in front of everybody. I said, I'm not.
We don't even charge.
See you later.
We don't even charge. We do this for free.
Yeah.
You don't get a fee for refereeing.
I can if I want it, but I choose not to have it.
So all me, Wayne, Ches, and Dan, none of us take money out of the club. So we all do it. This is another thing, we do it for free. So not only are we coaching kids and we're dealing with the stress of running a team, when that's done or before, we'll be off refereeing.
All the trustees, we don't even claim expenses. We don't have a fee. I don't get paid nothing. I've got my own job and do everything else. This is like a passion for us. And all the radio interviews I've done, telly interviews, paper, all the articles, never, ever, ever charged one bean. Because I always felt, well, I'm as bad as the FA. I'm making money out of talking about abuse. But more and more people coming out to me saying, no, listen, you're going for the other angle. You're getting it discussed. You should get something. Whereas I'm saying we, as in the charity, not me personally, where we can do it. So, of course, as we've said, we're working with the Met Police to give 12 young offenders. We're going to put them on a course. We're going to pay for it. So I've accidentally fell into this model where other people are coming forward saying, well, I'll pay towards that. I'll pay towards that. So now I'm going to go to every big city across the UK and see if I can work with all those police forces or other organisations to get these young offenders to give them a chance. Because, like I said, it's been well documented that I was the kid that was always going to go astray. I did everything wrong as a teenager. No one all the lads I knocked around with, I'll see them all this weekend when I'm in Liverpool. Can't believe the way I've got my life sorted out. And I had to move away from Liverpool to get my head back together. I moved away 30 odd years ago. If you drew a bad kid, that was it. I was everything. I was always getting in trouble with the police, always up to no good, dabbled with drugs, was very violent, naturally violent, was a dad before I was 16. Everything wrong. Everything wrong. My daughter's 40 this year. Do you know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, I've got 6 grandchildren. So stuff I do, and one of them, funny enough, is the LFC Foundation approached me about going into prisons and talking to people about. I've got this talk where I say, don't make your problems a weight, make it a sail. Let it push you on, not drag you down. So then when I see all these people who are giving it loads and all that, and I say, well, if that was in a pub, you definitely wouldn't say that to me. 100% wouldn't say that to me. Yeah, you'd only tweet it because it's a tweet, but if we were faced that, you definitely 100% would not say that to me. And I've said when I was refereeing, I remember a lad said, you can't say that to me. You threatening me, ref. He called me the CUNT. And it was the last minute of the game, and everything was going swimmingly. I thought, I'm not going to bid him. No one hears it, just me and him. And I said, I promise you, if it was in the pub, I'll be fighting with you now. So don't say that to me. And you know I won't do it. And I said, look, just don't. And I did it so many times that I said, do us a favour, mate. Would you say that to me in the pub or in the pool? And if you won't, shut up.
Yeah.
And it's those sorts of conversations that the FA would never want the referee to do.
The thing
sometimes you've got to have that language. Haven't you got to have that sort of, not language as in swearing, that sort of language level, that sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? That sort of dialect. You've got to speak their language.
You're getting it like how this helping the young offenders can change lives and how it changes, but it can happen to older people as well. I mean, look at me. I'm knocking 50. 5 years ago, I wasn't involved in football at all. My little boy decided he wanted to play, and I'm like, well, where have you got that from? Because it's not from me. Took him to watch football. Winds up, he's pretty good at it, and slowly but surely, I've lost weight. I stopped drinking. I wanted to see all these games. Then I joined up with Wayne in the club, and it's like loads of people saying, "Oh, you'd be a great coach. You'd be a great ref. You're really great with these kids."
Love it.
Giving me fresh purpose. You know,
I've saved your life, haven't I?
You have. You know, it's a little bit maybe. You've enhanced it. You've enriched it. But it's given me more purpose. And now, it consumes hours and hours of my time, training and thinking of drills and just, learning more about the game and stuff like that. But what I'm giving back and what it's done for me and my family, the bond it's made with my, with my boy, it can improve and put you in a great direction when you're young, but it can do loads when you're older as well. And I could not recommend grassroots anymore to anybody, but to get into it.
But you know what? I think that's a really good way to end this episode, don't you, Baz?
Fantastic.
Well, I do, and I don't, because I want to cover a couple of things here before we go. Actually, in relation to this weekend, just thinking ahead, which will take us a few minutes, and it's the last game of this Premier League season this weekend, and I wanted to ask you both about the relegation battle, and is there any chance that Liverpool are going to make the top 4? just the slimmest chance. But it can only be, and it's funny because obviously it relates to Liverpool. Well, it doesn't relate to Everton, but they're from Liverpool. Are they going down or are they staying up, Martin?
I don't think so.
Do you know what? I I think they're going to go down.
You really?
Yeah, and I've got loads of Evertonian mates.
I think it'd be squeaky bum time for them if it's 0-0 at half time, or worse, because I think they could implode. And I've heard that Calvert-Lewin is not looking hopeful to play, and I'm not. I don't know. You see, I could see both Leeds and Leicester winning the last games, which would see them.
Leeds will beat Tottenham.
I think that there's a possibility. But
I think Tottenham are on the beach already. Tottenham are on the beach already, I reckon.
But I think Leicester home to West Ham.
Yeah.
Everton home to Bournemouth. And I think out of the 3 games, I think that's probably the toughest out of the 3. I know Spurs technically, and if you look at it on paper, are the stronger side. But like you just said, Martin, they are in a bit of a they're asleep, aren't they? They've been asleep for the last 3 months. And I think if Leeds crowds up, I think if Leeds get an early goal, you never know. But I just feel that Leicester are going to beat West Ham, and then I think it all depends on whether. I mean, if Leicester do beat West Ham, Everton have got to get a win. A draw's not enough. So
I don't want Everton to go down. I don't want it. I've got some really good mates. I showed you those things, those memorabilia stuff.
Yeah.
My mate business, he's a massive Evertonian, absolute massive Evertonian, really top lads. Members of my family are Evertonians, and we're not all Reds. And I don't want it to go down. But do you know what? They've been able to go down for years, haven't they? And I think with that club, I think you almost need to go down.
What's a reset?
Yeah, to reset. Almost like you had the toothache. You want to get my tooth out. Do you know what I mean? Get it reset and go and blather that league with a fantastic stadium if it's going to be finished next season. I don't know, but I just think, and again, when you look at all these clubs who were historically big clubs, but not viewed as big clubs now, like the Everton, the Leeds, they need to be in the Premier League. We need them to be in the Premier League. We need the Evertons. We need the Leeds.
Yeah,
some clubs in there that need to be in there, don't they? And I think Everton is one of them.
We've got a lot of people at club and a lot of people are mates who are big Chef Wednesday fans, and I hope they win on Monday. I hope they come up to Championship, and I'd like to see them come up again because I think they're another big club that have been kind of asleep for years. But coming back to this, I do think Everton will probably draw, and I think Leicester will win, and I think it'll mean that Leicester will finish 17th, and I think for me, I'm going to say I think Everton, Leeds, and Southampton are down.
What do you reckon, Wayne?
I reckon Leicester and Leeds are down.
Ooh.
Leicester and Leeds.
Right.
I'm going with Everton.
So do
you
reckon who's out of the other two then? Who's staying up? Leeds or Leicester?
Leeds.
I
reckon they beat Tottenham.
Well, and Leicester failed to get a result against West Ham.
Yeah.
I don't think Leeds and Leicester will win. I think they'll lose both their games. I can't see Leeds beating Tottenham. Not after the last one, and I certainly don't think Leicester are going to beat West Ham. I don't know. I just can't see it.
So
I reckon you might be right, Wayne. I reckon Everton might squeeze a draw. It's going to be a tough game against Bournemouth, but I don't think Everton are going down this year.
So finally, are Man U going to slip up?
Hopefully.
Chelsea. Squeaky bum time. Then full about last game of the season.
1-1 draw.
Well, the people were thinking typical want Everton to go down, Liverpool to get up to the Champions League, but I don't think Liverpool will.
No,
it's more or less done.
Yeah,
we're on Thursday on TV.
Yeah, I think Saturday killed it, didn't it? Really.
Yeah, I do. But one thing I'd like to say, all the match officials that are doing those games, that's as big as the top of the table clashes. That's to say, but they're the biggest games of the week because the league's sorted out, isn't it? City won it. But they're all going to go to Liverpool. Aren't going to get in there for the Champions League. The biggest games this week are the ones at the bottom. They're the biggest game.
Yeah.
They're the ones where you see. Do you know what? I was going to look at the referees' appointments for those games. I haven't done it. So it'd be interesting to see who's refereeing those games.
I've done it for all last week.
As we wrap up the first, and a little bit about, and we'll wrap this up really quick. We've got loads coming for you over the course of the next weeks, months. We're really interested in getting some people on. I won't reveal just yet. Martin, you're already working on a few biggies on that. You've told me about one, which is really exciting. So we're going to get some referees on, ex-pro referees, to give them a voice, really, to tell their side. And then obviously we can ask them questions that maybe you guys want to ask. So if there's anything that when these come about, you want to get involved, you want to talk to us, you want us to ask some questions, forward them on. We'll reveal when we get the people on before we do the pod. I need to let you know about where you can interact with the pod. So I've just set up today. It's all fresh, but I'm going to work on this for the next few days. So we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, and we're on Twitter. And it's all under the same name. It's the Ref Pod. It's literally that. All one word, the Ref Pod. So if you want to get in touch with us, start following, start subscribing on there. And then you'll be aware of when and where we release all the new podcasts. The podcasts are going to be going out on every platform that's available to you. We're also going to be setting up a YouTube channel. So you can look at our ugly mugs if you really wanted to, or when we get some guests on that might be more interesting for you. But that's going to be on YouTube. So again, this is the only one not set up today, by the way, but I'm sure I'll be able to get this one sorted out. I'm going to look at calling that the Ref Pod as well, so you can subscribe. So the video is going to be available on there. Please spread the word. Please put it about there. This is the first one. It's a pilot one. We're kind of feeling his feet with it a little bit as well. But I guarantee we're going to have some big stuff coming up. And it's going to be totally different to anything you've heard out there in terms of what angle we're coming at. Now, we've already said there's not going to be a bias towards referees. You know, we'll question decisions if we feel there need to be questions. But what we want to do is we want to give them a voice. And I think if you're a massive football fan like we are, then hearing referees have their voice and their opinions on certain things and certain topics that are driving us nuts to get that feedback back from them would be just, that'd be amazing.
Literally be a game changer.
It'll be a game changer.
Right, Wade is right.
So stick with us, subscribe to us, follow us, interact. And do you know another really interesting feature as well? And I love this one. I love it. And we're sticking by it because when I used to be on radio, I did this as well. If you've got, well, some of you have got a big enough pair of balls behind the screen to start throwing abuse about, and you can throw it at me, you can throw it at Little Wayne, or you can throw it at Martin. Martin gets it, and I look at it sometimes and I'm thinking, oh my God, I don't know how I put up with half of it because some of it's horrendous. If you're going to say that kind of stuff, we're going to give you an opportunity to back it. So if you're going to be big enough to have a go, and look, I'm not condoning anybody go out there and start calling Martin or me or Little Wayne all names under the sun. Again. But if you do, don't be surprised if one of us turns around and says to you, look, if you back yourself that much, you've got a big enough pair of balls to say it to us, we'll invite you on the pod. We'll have you on. We'll invite you on. We'll give you a section. Come on. You can have it out with us. You can have your say. We can have our say. And hopefully at the end of it, we can shake hands and you can go away being a bit of a nicer person. And rather than being a bit of a keyboard warrior.
That's it. We can call it keyboard warrior corner.
That as well. And we're going to throw in little bits extra. We're going to do a little bits more.
Prizes.
Yeah, sorry. And we're not doing that today, are we?
No, we're not. We're going to say we're going to give out some top prizes. But
we are, and let me tell you as well, they are top prize. I've seen two of them today, and I'm like, wow. I can't. They're all from Martin. I can't. What can I give you? I've got nothing to give.
And they come with a receipt.
I've got a signed John Barnes shirt, but you're not having that. This podcast, it doesn't mean that much to me. But we've got all sorts coming up, is what I'm trying to say. So subscribe, spread the word, get in touch, leave us a comment. If you listen to this pod today for the first time, leave us a comment. Head over to Twitter, head over to TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, YouTube. Leave us a comment. Tell us, give us your opinion.
Because we're only going to get better.
Yeah, give us your opinion. Tell us what you want. If there's anything you want to hear on the pod, anything you want us to discuss, there's any issues going out there that you think, or I tell you what would be a really good one, grassroots people. If you've got some stories, come and talk to us. Come and give us your stories. Let us put your stories out there. It doesn't have to be negative. Let's put the positive ones out. Let's highlight the unsung heroes in the grassroots game that do it week in, week out without getting paid for it. Let's do that. And Martin.
Yeah.
Ref Support UK.
Yeah.
Hotline.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be a really good time if people listen to this before they go out this weekend. And unfortunately, somebody on silent gives us some abuse.
There's help. 0300 311 1966.
Why did you get 1966, by the way?
I can't imagine. No,
maybe we could have some of our Scottish listeners why I would choose 1966.
Is that your birthday?
No. Actually, Everton won the FA Cup in 1966.
Did they really?
He did, yeah. I think. I'm pretty sure he did. I just remember someone throwing that at me. But Yeah,
we'll edit that bit out if you're wrong.
No, I'm pretty sure I'm right.
So listen, Martin, thank you. Lil Wayne, thank you. I think that's been a good start to you.
Brilliant.
Pilot episode, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.